Hello, Jackie. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on the Make Life Rich movement.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. It's my first podcast ever, so I'm
Oh,
excited.
yay! Oh my gosh, yes. I pride myself on somehow asking a lot of people that have never been on a podcast to be on my show. So I'm hitting home runs here. This is like so great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Well, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good conversation. Guys, we are going to you're literally listening to an innovator that has solved, if you're a mother, you have said that you needed this one thing, and Jackie has created this one thing. And if you have any more children or friends having children in the future, this is going to be the gift you buy for the baby shower because you're going to be the winner of the party if you bring this one thing. So,
For sure.
Jackie, I would love for you to tell everyone your creation story and why you made what you made. So, start
Absolutely.
us off. You're pregnant, you're a mom, you're getting all your stuff ready, you think you've got it all, and then you discover you're missing this thing. So, what's the thing you're missing?
Yes. Thank you for that amazing introduction. So, yes, I
Thank you.
am a first time mom. My daughter is now 18 months old, but we live in Arizona. And if you've never been to Arizona, it gets up to upwards of 115 degrees on average on in the summertime. So it starts like at 100. So it's really, really hot. And so when I was gonna be a mom, I honestly never really pictured myself breastfeeding. I remember seeing my sister-in-law coming over and visiting us when I was pregnant and her breastfeeding, and I just couldn't picture myself doing that. So to now being the creator of this, the only nursing cover on the market with a fan, it's kind of crazy to me. So yeah, so it was last summer. My daughter was about 4 months old. I bought a little fan off of Amazon, and everywhere we went, I had my husband hold it for me every time I was going to breastfeed. And I think he just honestly started to get really sick of holding the fan. It was until we were sitting in church, we like to call it divine intervention. We were sitting in church, we were at a baptism, and I had him hold the fan almost the entire time. And just to prevent my daughter from overheating, from sweating, from just being fussy and not really being able to focus on breastfeeding like she should have been. And so later that day after the baptism, we go to a party. Everyone's eating tacos, chit chatting, and my husband wants to be like, with the guys. And I'm like, hey, babe, can you come hold the fan again? And I think that's when he had honestly just had it. And he's like, what if we just connect one of these fans to a cover? And he said it very jokingly, but I was like, you know what? If we can make that work, that would honestly make such a difference in our lives. Like, I'm gonna do it. And that was on a Saturday, and on Monday I called my grandmother. I was like, hey grandma, she's a seamstress. I'm like, can you help me sew this fan on a cover? And she's like, she didn't even question it. She was like, yeah, 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 just come over, let's do it. And that's kind of like just how everything got started.
Oh, oh boy. Okay. So, wow. I want to unpack a few things here.
Yeah.
One, this innovation, guys, came out of the sheer necessity of wanting to be basically the best caretaker possible while also thinking about being a good spouse, and then finally just being mindful of your time and trying to like create a thing that's going to make this easier, make it easier for everyone involved. You're the mom, you're like, I can solve this problem. This is annoying for everyone. Like, let's just figure
Right.
it out. But the fact that it then became a family endeavor and your grandma helped you to make
Yeah.
this is a really, like you said, divine intervention. What a beautiful thing to come together,
Yeah.
and something that, geez, every single mother I've ever known that's breastfed during the summertime, especially, they're like worried for how hot their baby is under the cover, but can't really get rid of the cover or aren't comfortable getting rid of the cover. And, it's amazing that it took until 2023 for this to be created, but it
What
was
I'm
meant for
saying.
you to create. It's so awesome.
That's what I'm
So
saying, and that's
thank
what I
you.
told my husband. Like, okay, we have ceiling fans in our bedrooms, we have ACs in our cars. We're taking technology to make everything better, more convenient, more comfortable. But why did that stop at breastfeeding covers? Like, why did no one think to take a fan and put on a cover and just solve this problem that is so uncomfortable? And
Hmm.
A sweaty baby, a hot baby is a problem that every single mom faces, whether they decide to cover or not. It's not just the breastfeeding cover that makes it hot. Could
Hmm.
it make it like just that much hotter, maybe amplify it more? Probably yes, but a lot of moms, it's not an option to breastfeed without a cover. So I think what this has done is also it's converted moms that didn't care for covering up before to like, hey, give this a try. Because if your baby is squirming or they're just fussy due to the heat, like, hey, give this a try. It might be something that might help your baby actually feed and nourish and like actually pay attention to feeding themselves better and more comfortably. So highly, highly recommend it.
Girl, I remember coming across your Instagram page, which, guys, was literally like 2 weeks ago. And
Oh,
I
really?
was literally 2 weeks ago. And I saw your, like, I don't even know what picture it was. It was you wearing it. And then I think you were like unloading a truck or something. And I was just like, wait, shut the F up. She has created this product that is doing so well that you are running out of room in vehicles to pack the orders that you have to sell. Like, that got me. I was like, I need to learn about this, need to hear about this story, learn about this woman and how this came together. And it, guys, her baby is only 18 months old. So this came together in a very short period of time. Tell us about you. Okay, so your grandmother mocks up the
Perfect.
prototype.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there? What were kind of your next steps? How did you know what to do as well?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still figuring it out. That's the key. Okay, so we started this when my daughter was about 5 months old, is when my husband gave me the idea. Um, but before that, we had just bought this house. We borrowed $10,000 to get the house, and we had just paid it off. Like we moved in here when I was still pregnant, very early on, and we had it took us a year to pay off $10,000 to a family member. And then from there, our backyard was just complete dirt, and we really wanted grass because every time I would wake up, I'd look out the window and it was just dirt. So we got turf installed, and that was $14,000. And I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband's the breadwinner of the household, and I can see that he was looking a little stressed or worried about, hey, in 1 year, are we going to be able to pay that off? Because after that, interest was going to kick in. We were even talking about, maybe if we don't completely pay it off, we're going to have to borrow from a family member. And then I kind of just thought, like, what would be better than not only not having to borrow any more money to pay this off, but like, what if we could just completely pay it off? Like, what can I do? And so I grew up, I'm the eldest of three siblings, and I'm the eldest of 26 cousins. And growing up, my mom's single mother, immigrant, and I watched her working three jobs sometimes. She would work in the daytime at the hospital and then switch from working at the gas station to working at the casino. And she was just always busting her butt. And if you grow up Hispanic and you, like, this is a thing in the Hispanic community. If you sit down for 2 seconds, someone's always telling you, like, hey, ponte a hacer algo, like, get up and do something. So, like, being a stay-at-home mom or through my pregnancy, I was like sitting around a lot, and like that was kind of like eating me alive. Like I need to do something. And so my daughter came along, and I saw how we were kind of like struggling. I'm very blessed to be a stay-at-home mom, but I really wanted to help my husband, so I started looking into how to become an Amazon seller. And initially, I was trying to sell like candles and things that were already existing. And that's when I came across a video on YouTube that said, um, talking about the importance of creating your own brand and your own product that has very little competition. So mainly taking something that you already use and making a slight adjustment to it to making it better. That way, when you put it out there on the market, you don't have a lot of competition. So I started to think about things that I use in my day-to-day life that I can make a little better. And living in Arizona, I was like, okay, I have this fan. But it would be great if when I attach it to the stroller, it blows on my baby and it blows on me, and it's 360. And so I went to Alibaba and I reached out to a lot of manufacturers, and I was like so naive. I think about it now. I was like, hey, I want to create a fan that is 360. And they're like, ma'am, the technology doesn't exist yet. And I was like, oh, and I was so bummed. And my husband knew because he knew I was like trying to create something from home, create my own little Amazon platform. And so a little bit late. So I already had all these fan manufacturers in place for my Alibaba account. And so when he said that, hey, like, why don't we connect the fan onto the cover? I think that was his way of trying to help me out. Like, hey, you can still do something, because I was pretty bummed. And this was 2 weeks later when he suggested it. I was like, yes. And I already had the manufacturers in place. I was like, hey, just kidding. Forget the 360 fan. I'm going to need you to do this instead. Like, help me connect some Velcro to the outside of it. So that's kind of how I went about reaching out to manufacturers. So I used Alibaba. And so my grandma helped me create their prototype. I had the pictures, and I would communicate with them and kind of like show them the sketch, show them the nursing cover, and that's how we kind of just went about it.
Wow. You kind of like melted through butter, which were the problems of production, manufacturing. Like a lot of businesses really do get caught up in this process because it's so intense and not everything always works according to plan and it takes years and years to get this together. So I love how quickly this came together for you. And it seems like very intuitively as well. Like you kind of just made the decision, started working on like finding people to make it for you, and then they made it, and now you're selling
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and that I feel like a lot of people get caught up in thinking about everything that needs to get done and like just overthinking everything, and I jumped straight into it. And so I use Alibaba for everything, and a lot of people are actually very shocked. People that are years in the industry or have successful businesses, when I tell them I use Alibaba, they're very shocked because they hear a lot of horror stories. It doesn't work out great for a lot of people, but I think it's another thing that it's also intuitively. When I went on there, a lot of the manufacturers or factories have a blue little check mark, and then it shows like that's their way of being verified. So they go through extra verification steps to get that, and it also shows the time that they've been in business. So I made sure to only contact manufacturers that had that blue check mark and that have been in business for 5, 10 years, not anyone that's new in the market or in their field. So I think that's kind of also what worked for us. And so from the time we started working on it to the time that we launched, it was 6 months. So product development was really, I think, like 4 months going back and forth, finding the right fabric, the right color, making the Velcro work. I think it was 4 months. As a new breastfeeding mom, I didn't sleep much during those 4 months, just, yeah, staying up a lot of nights because they're overseas. My manufacturers are in China. So when it was morning over there, it was 7, 8 p.m. here. So I would work at night talking with them in conferences and meetings. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's talk time investment and money investment. You don't have to give us specifics about what you spent on your product or anything, but all told, what did it take as someone that didn't have a lot of money to spend to start a business? Can you kind of give us an idea of what your starting budget was, and then what time did it take for you to get all of this together during that time?
Yeah, great question. So, like I mentioned, we were doing this because I wanted to help my husband. It's slowly turned into like my passion. Um, but yeah, initially we started. I was trying to help the financials in the household. So we had no money to put into this idea. So I was like, okay, let me try to work it and develop it as far as I can. So when I get to the point of actually purchasing the product, we'll take out a credit card if we need to. Like that's going to be worst case scenario. That's what we'll do. That's what we need to do. So I reached out to, I don't want to put him on blast, but he's a family member of mine. And I asked him, again, because I don't know a whole lot. I don't have any business background. I was cleaning houses right before I got pregnant. So I thought I was going to need $5,000. And so I asked this person, family member of mine, for $5,000 to buy my first 100 units. I was thinking I was going to buy. We ended up doing 300 for our first order. But I ended up getting an investment. That person said no. I asked another person. They said no. Males. They didn't really see the vision. Um, so they said no. This was, I think, 1 month in. And I just kept taking my nursing cover with me everywhere. I took it to the park. And then at the park, another family member of mine seen it. He has 5 kids. His wife had breastfed all of them. So he knew that the problem that this was. And he actually offered. I didn't even ask him. He started asking me questions like, how much are you going to buy it for? Where do you source it from? How much profit can you make? And I knew every single question. And I think just me being prepared and like not stopping and like pushing through, he was like, do you need an investment? And I was like, yes, I do need an investment. Like, I'm glad you asked. And at the end, towards the end, like he ended up investing $15,000, which 5,000 of that covered the initial 300 units, and the rest of it went to patent costs. And I think just 1,000 of that or 1,500 we used like for website and branding, but most of it went to the patent. And so I think I got the investment like 2 to 3 months into this whole idea.
My goodness. I am so beyond impressed is the wrong word. I am just in awe of what your business has
Mm-hmm.
basically blossomed into in such a short period of time. That was $15,000 is nothing to like sneeze at. It's a lot of money for
Yes.
some people, but for some people it isn't. And even being able to secure a business loan for something that
Mm-hmm.
relatively low could be an option for a lot of people. So I thank you for sharing that information because
Mm-hmm.
that amount of money gave you the ability to secure this very valuable thing that you've created with a patent. Let's talk about the patent journey. How soon into this process did you start doing that? Because it is an ongoing process, but tell us all the things about that and congratulations on doing that. That's
Thank
amazing
you
and
so much.
huge.
Yeah, and before we get into the patent, I do want to say that to me, $15,000 is a lot and was a lot. And I remember finally making the purchase for the first 300 units and like letting go of the 5,000. I was like, this is a lot of money, and like, are we going to be able to get it back? And I remember talking to my uncle, like, God bless him. He was actually also the one that lent us the money to get our house, and we had just finished paying him, and here he goes offering us more money. Like, he is just such a blessing in our lives. And I remember just being so scared to even make the purchase. And he's like, "It's okay, you got to take a risk, and if it doesn't work out, like it's okay. Like we'll, you guys have always paid me back. I trust you guys." So yeah, that was very intimidating for me to take that leap, but I'm so glad I did. So
For
glad.
sure.
Um,
$5,000 outside of maybe a car, like, or buying a house.
yeah,
It's rare that you swipe that much all at one time. It is very
it was scary.
jarring and it does bring into perspective how serious
Hmm.
this idea and this thing has now become. It is a business. Like you've now invested not only your time and your effort, but money and
Right.
serious money into it. So it is people are sometimes really hesitant to invest money and they want to go as long as they can,
Hmm.
doing whatever they can before really investing. But if you are able to and you're given the opportunity to, it does really turn up the heat in a way, discipline wise, mindset wise,
Hmm.
drive. It goes through the roof, which it sounds like you didn't have problems having any of those things. Not like you seem naturally abundant. So I imagine that came, for you a little easier than it would for some, but
Hmm.
it really does do something to make an investment like that in your business. Like it's officially game time.
Yeah, yeah. But I think I was ready before that to do something with my life. I was at the end of 29. I was hitting 30, and when I was in my 20s or just growing up, I always knew I wanted to be somewhat motivational, like help women, like have a successful business. I didn't know what business, but I just like my mom would always drag me along to these like motivational conferences, and I would always look at the people speaking. I'm like, I want to be like that one day. So I got to my late 20s. I was like, okay, what have I done with my life? I need to do something. So at that point, I feel like my mindset, my mind frame was just like ready to do something. And I feel like that's what had a lot to do with it. But going back to the patent, so when our grandma got done sewing the prototype, the very next day, it took me 2 days to draw up our first, what is called a provisional patent. Um, I don't know if you know what that is. For the people that don't know, a provisional patent, you can file it yourself. You don't need a lawyer for this. It costs only $75 through the United States Patent and Trademark Office, or uspto.gov or .com. And again, I YouTubed it step by step how to create your own patent, how to draw a sketch, how to label everything, how to describe everything. Printed out a form, like a microentity form, filled it out, and uploaded all of these documents on there. And what the provisional patent does, it protects your idea for 1 year. So it allows you to throw it out in the market, make sure that there is demand for this, that you can sell it, and allows you to actually go in and file what would then be the non-provisional patent, which is what the lawyers do, and that's what costs a lot of money, and actually have that examined by a patent attorney or someone at the patent and trademark office and actually be published. So if you have an idea and you don't know how it's going to do in the market, you're scared to share about it, you can kind of protect it for 1 year with a provisional patent that's only $75 and you can do it yourself. YouTube it step by step.
You are beyond aspirational. You're definitely changing lives. And the more that your story gets out, I think you're really going to inspire a lot of people to just try. And then they're going to be impressed with what they could do. And then they're going to
Absolutely.
try something else and then try something else. But like, you guys, she didn't let something she didn't know how to do stop her. She just went into Google and went into the search bar and typed in a sentence
Yeah.
and then watched it and gave it a freaking go.
Yeah.
And since then, you've absolutely proven that your patent is worthy of going through with lawyers and doing the whole entire process. So you've sold out 4 times now?
4 times. Yeah. So after filing the patent, that was August of last year. I found my patent attorneys in, like, I think of November. We started kind of working through it, and they drafted it in, I think, like 6, 7 months, and we filed for examination in May of this year. And our actual patent, got examined and approved, I think, like 2 months later. So within a year of everything, it got, and our lawyer came back saying, like, this is so rare for a patent to come back
Yes.
with no actions. Usually they come back and they say, hey, we need to switch this up, or this entity, but it just went so smoothly, which they were shocked at the office as well.
So you literally created something that has never, ever been created before.
Yeah. And I feel like it's so simple. Like, we did was take two already existing products, make it into one, and protected its usage, or patented its, yeah, just its usage. Just
My
found a
God,
way
girl.
to design it for them to integrate, and it's life changing for a breastfeeding mother. It honestly is. I remember being at the park, being being postpartum, always being at the house, and then finally being able to go out to the park. All my family got together twice a week to play volleyball, and so we were out there. And when it came time to breastfeed, my husband would be playing volleyball. I didn't want to bother him to hold a fan, so I would walk all the way back to the car by myself, turn it on, to turn the AC on, and breastfeed in there. And just, like, felt isolating again. It's like, it sucks that I come to be with my family, and then here I am breastfeeding in the car. And you will not believe how many messages and emails I've gotten of moms sending me pictures of them in the car breastfeeding their babies. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't the only one. I'm not the only one that's dealing with this. And it's
No
something
way.
that moms don't talk about. Like, they warn you about everything. They warn you about, sleep now because when baby comes, you won't sleep. But no one ever says, hey, and by the way, whenever you breastfeed, especially if it's in the summer, baby's going to be so hot, and it's going to suck, and you're going to have to go to your car, you're going to have to go to a bathroom stall just to keep them cool. Yeah. People don't talk about this.
It it's always the simplest of things that make someone a billionaire. So it's you're the first billionaire I've met, so it's a pleasure to meet you because this is literally
Throwing it out
just the
there.
beginning. Like I have goosebumps for your future. It's incredible. It's
Thank you.
insane. I know this because there's not one single woman I have ever met that has breastfed a child in the summer that I haven't heard them say, it's so hot. Oh my God, I need to change my shirt. Oh, this poor baby, he's dripping. Like
Yeah.
they're, you just watch it be so difficult for them. It's emotionally upsetting. They're sweating to death. They're
Yeah.
feeling empathy for their baby being like so uncomfortable. And then the process is drawn out because the baby is so uncomfortable they can't eat. And like it makes it a nightmare for everyone. The parent, the co-parent, the kids that want the attention from the co-parent that's not got to help with like it's a whole fiasco because this literal product was not invented.
Yeah.
And
And
now that it is.
that's something that moms do tell us, and they reach out saying, this this nursing cover, this product allows me to be present. And I got a message that was actually like, hey, thank you for creating this. I'm able to breastfeed my baby and go out to a splash pad and watch my toddler there and be able to comfortably breastfeed my baby without having to go somewhere else or having to miss out on that. So it allows moms to be present. But
Crazy. It's
yeah,
so crazy. Okay, so tell us about the functionality of the product. So it's 100% muslin cotton, so it's nice and breathable. You have a few colors.
yeah.
The fan has three different functions for intensity.
Yes, correct. So one of the main things that I did before fully developing the product, I spent hours on Amazon looking at the reviews on other breastfeeding covers. And I would click on like the 1 or 2 stars, like what are moms complaining about? And almost always it was it's too hot to nurse, or the fabric it's not enough. Like it's not enough for coverage, or I'm a plus size mom. And it's so our design is like an apron style, and most of them are like a square, and it's most of them are, I would say, like 20 to 30 inches long, height and width. So we also created one of the largest nursing covers on the market, for moms of all sizes, plus size mamas. And it is muslin cotton fabric, so it's a little bit lighter, it's more breathable. And the integrated fan, it's a bladeless, rechargeable, flexible fan. So since it sits in the opening, um, apart from just keeping the baby cool with 3 air speeds, slow, medium, and fast, it also allows a mom to adjust the opening. So for privacy preferences, so let's say she's going to be sitting down and there's going to be a lot of people walking behind her, she can completely open it and almost completely close it off, but she can still keep eye contact with the baby. Or if there's not going to be anybody walking behind her and she just like fully wants to see baby, it becomes a huge opening, completely flexible. So I think we
Wow.
just combined so many things to make one of the best breastfeeding covers on the market.
Mhm.
There's no doubt in my mind that in the next 3 to 5 years, this is going to be the go-to nursing cover. It's going to be on every baby registry and all big box stores.
1 year.
One
I give
year,
you 1 year.
hopefully, I'm thinking 3 to 5. I don't know. Who knows?
Girl, we'll talk after.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna discuss this later.
yeah,
Um, you I love the fact that you thought about the privacy needed for above as well, so that you don't have to get up from the dining room table or the restaurant that you're at,
Mhm.
or you get to sit at the park and still have privacy from someone that may be trying to be lecherous and get like a peek. That's such a cool feature that,
Mhm.
only a woman would know to create and add into a product that they were making. How
Yes.
much of your knowledge of being a mother, I mean, clearly it went into the creation of this product,
Mhm.
but how how much do you think that is going to help you in the process of this company as you grow and evolve? Do you think that there will be that connection to where a dad will remember that time for their wife and like what that was like to go through, or a mother themselves being like, holy shit, I would have wanted this in my registry, like this was amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think that factors in to the overall popularity of what your product is? Like, do you ever have to explain this to anybody, or do they know right away what you've created?
Well, we have mainly marketed through social media. So I feel like mostly everyone that comes across it is because they see a picture on social media or they're shared a video. But that's one of the things that we do get when on the comments, I see like, where was this 5 years ago? Or where was this when I was breastfeeding? Or like, I told my husband about this. And almost all of the moms that are buying this or like that I have on my social media, they message me like, oh my gosh, I told my husband about this, or my husband reminded me to get on the wait list, or my husband told me like, hey, this is the job. So I feel like moms or our followers are getting their husbands excited about this as well.
Hmm.
But I feel like just us being such a unique product has definitely helped us a lot, and word of mouth has been huge because the $15,000 of our initial investment went strictly to getting the product and the patent. So we had $0 to market this. I knew if we were going to make it work, I had to get on social media, learn how to create a video, learn what reels are. I was so intimidated by the video editing apps, but and my videos at the beginning were so bad, so crappy if I can say that.
No, they were
Um,
great.
yeah, but like it's been I think 11 months now since I started social media. They have gotten better. I've started to learn what works, what doesn't work. Still so much room to grow and keep learning, but I
Hmm.
feel yeah, like people see the video of it and they almost initially know what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And it's one of those things, it took me a second. When I saw it, I was like, what is I just was more curious why the cloth was so far away from you. That's what I
Um,
noticed first. I was like, oh, like, is she wearing
like
a
up to
backpack?
the
Like,
opening, or
yeah, I was like, is there a backpack on? Like, why is this so far away from her? I was like, no child is that, like, are they 12? Like, they'd have to be huge. It would never, like, come
yeah.
that far out. And then when I clicked on it, I was like, oh my God, what a freaking invention is like. I could see and remember and hear the women just being like, oh my God, my baby. And like the fluttering while they're like feeding, like the whole nine. And it instantly, it was like almost like Shark Tank effect, like how they always feature the products that they're like, oh my God, you're revolutionary. You're
Yeah.
not revolutionary. You created the category. You're not even a disruptor. You created the category. You are all there is. Like that to me is so impressive. And once you recognize what it is, everyone is going to have the same reaction. Oh my God, I would have bought this for my niece, my sister, da da da. I could have used this. It's $1 billion idea and it's amazing. It's so cool. Tell us
Fingers crossed.
about your social media journey, using it for business purposes. What was that learning curve like? Because everyone starts somewhere and if you keep doing it, you're going to continue to evolve, which you have absolutely done. So tell us about what the social media being used for business has been like for you.
Great question. This, I feel like the social media part has been one of the more challenging parts of the business, actually.
Wow.
Um, so, like I mentioned before starting this, I was very intimidated with creating a video. I had no idea how to work the social media, so this is what I did. And if anyone's listening, you want to start a business, I highly recommend you go to Boss Babes. I think they're on Instagram. Have you heard of Boss Babes?
Mhm.
The Natalie and Ellis and her co-founder.
Mhm.
So they popped up on my page and they were selling a course for like $40 for the it's called the Society, and it's a course on social media on how to use social media for your business. And my main takeaway from that was they said, don't be afraid to be seen starting out small. And I feel like that is something that a lot of people are embarrassed about. If you're starting a business or if you want to do anything, like you're scared what people are going to think or you're small. And yeah, it took me forever to get over past 100 followers, like months. And they said something also like a lot of people always give up right before they're about to have a breakthrough. Like, what if you don't give up? And I would like that kind of just really started like shifting my mind. Like, you know what? Sure, I have 100 followers, but let's just keep going. Like, what if I don't give up before the breakthrough? Because my entire life, I had always given up before anything amazing happened. Like, if I didn't see results almost immediately, like I was done with it. And I was like, you know what? This is the one thing that if when I'm on my deathbed, 80 years old, I don't want to look back and say, what if? Like, I'm going to give this my all. I'm not going to give up. So I decided to take social media by the horns. I bought this course, Boss Babes Society, I think it was called. I paid $40 for it, best investment of my life. I think that's the only thing that I paid for. And they really talk about creating a community that knows, likes, and trusts you. And so I was like, okay, well, I have a mom product. Like, let's create a community in my social media, not only around the breastfeeding cover, but around motherhood. And it took me, I think by the time that we launched in February, we had just hit the 1,000 follower mark. And to me, like that was huge because it took so much work being consistent with putting videos, out there while being a stay-at-home mom, trying to be a good wife, just like juggling a business. It was a lot, but then I started feeling more comfortable with social media, and I started really liking it. I was like, you know what, let's also make this fun. Like, so my videos, I dance with the cover, and I just like really showcase my personality, and that's another big thing with it when you're starting a business. Even if you're selling T-shirts, whatever it is, incorporate your personality in it and make it fun. Like, really enjoy it, because if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're excited about what you're doing, other people are going to be excited. How do you expect other people to be excited about a product if they can't see that through you, type thing? So that
Hmm.
really helped me. Reels have been really huge. I feel like that's a way to reach a mass audience, and then really curating that relationship and that trust through our stories. Um, it's kind of just what we've done. I don't know if that answers your question.
It's a beautiful answer. You've covered every angle, and I love very much so that you have showcased who you are throughout this process. It's cool that you're a mom, but you aren't just a mom. You're this and you're that, and you like this and you listen to this music, and like showing who you are and giving a sneak peek does really lead people to want to be your friend. If they want to be your friend, they likely trust what it is that you're
I feel
saying and you're
like, well, I have
selling.
become friends with a lot of my social media moms, and I actually want to hang out with them too. But a lot of them are in Texas. Like, if I ever go to Texas, like, we gotta hang out.
Oh
So
my God, I
for
love
sure.
that. I love that you've created a community too, because that really does. I mean, moms need all the help they can get. They're
Mhm.
absolutely a part of society that is not supported enough. They're with all the technology and the things that we have going on in this day and age, the fact that so many problems for moms still exist and exist
Mhm.
at a rate of it being widespread to where everyone knows about it. It's just time that a lot more attention, innovation, investments were spent on women and making women's lives easier. So I really do thank you, even though you're a woman yourself, for creating something to help women, moms especially, to have a little bit easier of a day, because those breastfeeding minutes add up,
Yeah.
especially in the very beginning of your baby's life, and you're spending hours upon hours
Yeah.
upon hours a week doing something. And to make it a little bit more comfortable for them, that's a huge chunk of their life that they are going to be grateful and thankful for you and what you've done for your community. You said that you wanted to create like an impact. You already have.
Mhm.
Helping one mom to feel more comfortable about one of the most beautiful things on the planet,
Mhm.
and that relationship and that bond, like, yeah, the heat can really F it up, and a fussy baby can also really F it
Yeah.
up. And creepity creepers watching you when you're at breakfast can really fuck it up. So the fact that you've made something that combats so many things moms have to think about while doing this one precious thing
Mhm.
is just such a beautiful gift to give the world. You are so influential, so aspirational. Speaking with you now, you absolutely live up to the Lady Alpha moniker. I love that so much. Tell me about where Lady Alpha came from, because you are
Oh,
absolutely a type A. I love me a good type A woman. You are so type A. So tell me where Lady Alpha came from.
I'm so glad you asked that. I was like, if she doesn't ask me that, I want to make sure that I put this out there, because this is, I think, the one thing that I don't share on my social media. I think I've maybe talked about it once. Um, but to me, Lady Alpha is, I think, like I mentioned, I've always had this vision for myself to be motivational or inspirational or create something very successful, or like I'm all about strong women. Like, watching my mom grow up, she was the strongest woman I've ever known. Like, she worked 3 jobs. She then got kidney failure because she was drinking so much energy drinks, and like her, and through this, she never stopped working. I never saw her cry. I never saw her complain. Like, she is the embodiment of what is a strong woman to me. And so when I was thinking about creating a name for our business, I was like, okay, I want it to be something meaningful. And so when I was thinking about a nursing cover, I'm like, okay, sure, it's a baby product, but like, moms are going to be wearing that. And I feel like as moms, we go through so much from carrying a baby to giving birth to postpartum to then feeling isolated. We're in the car. We're the ones up in the middle of the night breastfeeding the baby. And I was like, okay, I want to create something that when they wear, they feel reminded of how strong, how beautiful they are, because it's so hard to lose sight of that. And to me, Lady Alpha just exemplifies everything that a mother is, and that's what it means to me. That's why I chose Lady Alpha.
So beautiful. I wish your mom continued health. I hope that she's okay.
She
That's
made it. Her kidney's been at working, I think, for 12 years. She's milking that kidney. So,
milk it out, mom.
yeah.
Milk it out. Thank God. Good for her.
Thank you.
I love that your overall thought when like giving a name to this company was to pay homage to your mother and to the countless other women that are like her. That's so beautiful, so touching. I love how much you are so deeply rooted in family and the fact that you created a product that is only going to support families and the overall emotional, mental, and health well-being of both baby, mom, dad, siblings. Like it's incredible. I I can see it getting downplayed because it's just a fan with a blanket, but for anyone that's ever needed it, they know how monumental of a thing you've created. And this was such an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your business journey with me. I know this is only the beginning. I'd love to have you on again in a few months and just hear more about your growth because it's going to be huge. The
Yeah.
last question that I like to ask every guest is, Jackie, how do you make your life rich?
I make my life rich, I think, by doing something that I love, by having God in the center of our family, being surrounded by people that love, support us, and helping out whenever I can. And I feel like something that we didn't speak about, and is something that also helps drive me every day, is the real purpose and also mission behind Lady Alpha. So I have this big vision and dream to create what is called the Alma Foundation, which is a foundation named after my mother. Alma Rosa is her name. And what that is I feel like Lady Alpha is a stepping stone to building what is going to be Alma Rosa. And I want it integrated into all of the school systems to help fund activities for underprivileged children, like dance, if they want to do anything in I don't know, engineering or in the math sciences. To me, when I was younger, I was really into dance and I was like naturally very good at it. But I would be with my mom when she'd be on the phone with the bank, like, hey, there's only $90 in the account. Like, I was not going to ask her, hey, mom, put me in dance. And so I want to be like that source of help for other children. Like, I don't think any child should ever have to miss out because of things that are happening at home or it's out of their control. And I don't want to cry, but like, I feel like that's really what helps drive me and motivate me and like make this work, make Lady Alpha work. So
So beautiful. I have absolutely no doubt you are going to make it happen. Anything you put your mind to, you achieve. Again, this is $1 billion product, $1 billion company. You're going to have a lot of money to help spread around and help every child and mother be supported and get what they so deeply deserve. Jackie, this was a pleasure. You are amazing. You're an amazing mom. You're an amazing innovator, business owner, wife to be just so concerned for all those around you that you created such an amazing product out of it is nothing short of a miracle. And I hope you're proud of yourself because you should be. It's really impressive.
thank you. I appreciate you so much for having me. I hope to keep talking to you, maybe keep a relationship or whatever it is. But thank you so much,
Yes, of
Sarah.
course. Thank you. I
Thank
need to know everything happening because you are so impressive. But thank you for coming on the show so much.
you. Bye bye.